Oh. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sanremo After Dark Live. And we welcome Andy Brooke coming down the stairs of death.
Tutti l'Italia, tutti l'Italia, tutti l'Italia. Hey, tutti l'Italia, tutti l'Italia, tutti l'Italia. Hey,
Yay! Here's Andy. Yay, Andy.
Phew, I made it. I made it without falling down. Buonanotte. Spero ci stia passando una buona serata. Good evening to everybody. Buonanotte. My name's Andy Brooke. I'd like to welcome all our guests to my right, Donna. Good morning, Donna.
Morning. It's definitely evening where I am, but you know.
Okay,
Just
just
Scotland,
20 past
it's very
1.
dark outside. Oh yeah, morning. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, it counts. All right. Good morning.
The king and queen of ESC Fan TV, Phil and Michelle. Buonanotte.
Yeah. All right. Evening.
Hello there.
And we're now going over to America, possibly California. I think it's about 2 in the afternoon. And welcome to Lena,
I think it's New York.
and Javier. You're in New York. Perfecto.
But
You're on mute as well.
Oh.
And our other guest, Chico Valare, is joining us for the evening. And he might have something to say later on. You never know. And we hope to be joined by Glitterbeam Radio, who are currently wrapping up their show. And it was great to be on with them earlier on. Well, what a shocker. We were going to talk about all 29 songs. And then I thought, well, we really shouldn't talk about the songs that really didn't get into the top 5, but we are going to. And that's going to be between Donna, Lena, and their friends. So off you go.
Okay. Right. So if anybody hasn't actually seen them so far, we have got 29 songs this year, and they all had a place in the order. I'm just going to quickly run through them. With or without photographs, we'll see. First off, in no particular order, we've got Gaia, English translation, I Call, You Call, Francesco Gabbani, Long Live Life, that's Georgia, there's Gabbani. Rukkomi, with The Rhythm of Things.
Things?
There he is, handsome boy.
Cute.
Then we've got Noemi, If You Fall in Love, You Die.
Beef and sausage.
There she is.
Oh,
Lovely
you like
Noemi.
what it was?
Irama with Slowly.
I know you're like, I don't know.
Napoleon.
That's a great outfit, isn't it? It looks like he's hiding things in that one. Komakoze with Little Hearts. There they are.
I think we expected them to do better, didn't we?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was a shocker.
Great performance.
Simone Cristiki with When You're Little. When You're Little. Oh. And then we've got Marcella Bella with Diamond Skin. There she is, the lovely Marcella. Everyone was a bit shocked, I think, that she came last in the running order. Achille Lauro with what's that one say? I need my glasses these days. Unconscious Youth it translates as. Georgia.
And that was the first song that got booed.
Yes.
Well, not the
that
song, but the results.
Yes. I think he'd had a place in the top 5, hadn't he, throughout the rest of the week. So it was a bit surprising he wasn't there. Georgia's song was The Cure for Me, which is a beautiful song we'll come on to later. Willie Peyote with Thanks But No Thanks.
As it turned out, it
Yeah.
was thanks but no thanks.
Yeah, definitely not his year, was it? Rose Villain with Outlaws.
She was great.
She was really lovely. Chablo featuring Gue, Joshua, and Tormento with La Mia Parola, or My Word. Ollie. We got Ollie. There he is.
No idea who he is.
He looks very like, huh? On that one. Bless
Well, I
him.
know what it looks like he's doing, but
Andy.
I'm
No,
sorry,
they're
I'll
after the
probably
award
get
show,
sacked
that's
again.
fine. Foolish Nostalgia was what his song translates as. Elodie. That's Forgetting at 7. I'm not sure what she's up to on that photograph, but there you are. A classic here, Massimo Ranieri with A Heart in My Hands.
I thought it was a bit mean of them to put him on so late. It was way past his bedtime.
Yeah. Maybe he's yawning in that photograph. Then we have Tony Effe with Give Me a Hand. I believe he got a song in Roman this year, which is the dialect they don't normally use. There we go. Look at that. Loving the gloves. The gloves are back, people. Then Serena Brancale with Heart and Soul, I believe that was translated as. There we are. Lovely outfit. Then Bruno Risas with The Walnut Tree.
Oh,
Yes, that's
no
what it
idea.
translates as. The Walnut Tree, yeah. Mura with I Won't Forget You.
I can't remember that one at all.
Yeah, he had a lovely fetching pink shirt on today. Probably as pink as the bruises he got from the stairs. Then we've got the last section, Clara with Febre, or Fever. There she is, lovely Clara. Then FedEx, not FedEx, although some people like to call him that, with Beat.
He was one of the favourites, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he was. And he certainly did better than we actually thought he might in the end. Then we have Lucio Corsi.
Voleva essere un duro.
Yes. Look at those shoulders. Aren't they amazing? His song translates as I Wanted to Be Tough. And then we have Bresh with a song called The Crab's Lair. I know.
Oh dear.
It's a nostalgic fair by the sea. Then we've got Sara Toscano.
Mute them as well.
Oh, that was no.
Yeah.
Oh,
We can hear you.
I thought Sarah Toscano did very well.
She did, actually. For a first timer.
Yeah.
Great result. It's a shame they stuck her on the end tonight, honestly. Her song was about Armacord. Then when Joan Thiele with Echo.
Co.
Who was that one?
Go.
Echo.
Go.
Joan
Go.
Thiele.
Go.
I liked her last.
I like it.
Have you got them?
Who was that? I don't know if we got that one.
Well, do you know what? We don't care anymore.
We don't need to see her there.
Let's just
We'll
carry
go
on.
to Rocco.
Donna, that was nearly as long as the whole show.
I know. Last
So
two. Rocco Hunt.
Oh no, God,
There he
more.
is.
Was he in it?
He
Yeah.
was. He was.
Yeah, he was the accountant.
Then Francesca Michelin.
Yeah, she came with her
Oh, yeah.
with 37 degrees of separation, but it was 6 degrees, wasn't it?
Yeah, apparently it translates literally as mud in paradise, which is not exactly a great title, but
It depends what your paradise is.
wow. Last but not least, we've got the colours.
Woo!
Where's
We like colors.
Really
There
nice.
somewhere.
There you go.
Give Phil a minute.
There you go. Look at that.
There he is,
There's the
Bruno
lead
Mars.
singer for you.
Okay.
And his song translates as "Who do you make love to?" There you go.
Mm.
Wouldn't we all
None of your
like to know?
fucking
So there you
business.
go. That was a quick rundown of everybody who was in it. So now let's talk about the favourites.
Thanks, Donna.
You're welcome.
So there were two big favourites. I mean, there really were big favourites as well. And if you looked at the YouTube views, it was all between Simone Cristicci and Georgia. And looking at it from a Eurovision perspective, I think the fans were thinking, no, neither of those two is going to make it in Eurovision. But we thought it was a done deal. Lena, what do you and your friends think of the two favourites?
So I think we were a bit skeptical, but we at the end of the day thought Georgia. But I have to give credit where it's due to number one Ollie fan.
So my calculation about Ollie was that like he's really big in Italy right now. He has an amazing duet with Angelina Mango, and I think he's the hungriest person to be an international superstar. And I think even though the song is a bit like lackluster, that
Carry on.
I think that normal viewers of Eurovision can connect to what he's doing. And even though the song is a bit like so-so, but I still can see a world in which this will like do well, especially in a world in which like everyone else is singing like cunt and riding on rockets, and it can be a calm song that is delivered relatively competently. So who
Fair
knows?
enough. And if people don't like the song, they can watch with their eyes.
Yes.
I guess so.
I mean,
We thought it was Georgia. I thought Georgia had it in the bag.
yeah, my take on the Georgia and Simone Cristicchi debate was that I want to preface this by saying that I don't think this year was a particularly Eurovision friendly year for Sanremo. I feel like all of the songs in Sanremo this year were Sanremo songs. They were not Eurovision songs. That being said, I feel like Cristicchi's appeal hinged on people understanding exactly what he was talking about. And that goes away in Eurovision because not that many countries in Europe speak Italian. So I kind of put all my capital on Georgia because it was kind of more appealing ballad, and that woman could sing.
The vocal is
the
impeccable.
crap out of that
It's an
song.
impeccable vocal. Yeah.
Yeah, the vocals were impeccable. So I was like, okay, so it's got to be Georgia. She's just a better, like, smarter choice for Eurovision, in my opinion. Very shocked with how that went.
When she wasn't in the top 5, I literally walked away.
Yes,
I
feel
was like, what is happening?
Yeah, I feel like they did to her what they did to Mahmood last year, which was kind of make her 6th spot so that people are not too upset about her placement, but everyone was still really mad about it.
But this is an Italian audience. They're not voting for Eurovision. They're voting for Sanremo, for their own songs. And yet these two
At it because
big favourites, how come they didn't win? Phil and Michelle, how do you think they did so much worse than had been expected of them?
I think there were a lot of similar-ish female songs. I don't feel that there was the variety that we've had in past years. I mean, I know when Amadeus was running things, it was chaos. But
Chaos.
This seems almost too structured and too ordered, and maybe a little too safe.
Really, Phil?
And I kind of think we need something sort of in between.
But it finished on time.
Well, that's it. We need something that finishes on time, but a bit more fun and a bit less regimented, and a bit more variety in the songs, maybe.
Yeah, and a number of the songs were written by Mahmoud and Blanco and Michelangelo, who is the songwriter and the three of them wrote Brividi. And yeah, I felt that you could hear their influence running through not just the songs they wrote, but some of the other songs. And there were some songs, I think, that trying to capitalize on Angelina Mango's success from last year.
I don't think they were trying to capitalise on Angelina Mango's success from last year, because there were no females in the top 5.
And not successfully, I mean.
No.
But
No, it's ridiculous. It's,
Mm.
I mean, it's all right, Mahmood and whatever his face is, writing the songs. But it's no good if you've got nobody to sing them and nobody's going to vote for them. If the song was, to be fair, right, if Mahmood thought the song was any good, he would
He'd
have
sing
sang
it
it himself. He'd have sung it himself.
that is a good argument. That is a good argument.
It may be that he also submitted songs himself, but the particular songs weren't taken up, because like every year many big artists send forward songs that they find, that they think that year would do well in Sanremo, etc., but quite a lot get knocked back at the same time. So it may be that they decided, well, okay, you can host instead.
And Dan, who's joined us in the chat room, just made a comment that his favourite was The Colours. And on night 1, or the first time they performed, that was my favourite as well. I thought that was going to do really well. My problem with it was that it didn't get better during the week. I think songs that need 3 listens are perfect for Sanremo. Not so good for Eurovision, but for Sanremo, you want to hit it on your 3rd listen. That's when you go, wow. But with the Colours song, I was bored of it by the 3rd listen, to be perfectly honest.
I think you're absolutely right, Andy. If it doesn't kick you in the face on the first listen, you are stuffed for Eurovision, because you don't have the opportunity to listen and listen and then listen and go, oh, this is really good, I'm going to vote for this. If it doesn't smack you in the face in the first listen, that's it, you're stuffed. It's no good for Eurovision whatsoever. But Sanremo is not a Eurovision song contest. It's an Italian Sanremo song contest. And you have to bear that in mind.
Yeah.
But I would also
do the same thing.
Wait, are we on?
Yeah, we're on. But
Okay.
I would also think that like what we saw this year was going back to Sanremo from like 10 to 15 years ago. And it was really like, some song like Simone Christichi's song is like telling the story. It's really like cantautore, songwriter in Italian. You have to listen to it. And what Amadeus did in the last couple of years was really getting a great like average of what is relevant in Italy right now. And there was just no Måneskin or Mahmood this year. And there was no song that was really pushing the envelope. There was a bit like Fedez, but even Fedez is like Jolier if you order him on Temu, and it's not really like the greatest. And it was the case like with a lot of songs, I thought, this is going back to where we were in like 10, 15 years ago. And yeah, it's a bit sad, but yeah, this is what Sanremo was, and maybe we had like lucky years and should be thankful for the years we had, but now we're back to normal.
I think you're absolutely right with the lucky years, because Måneskin turned up and we were like, holy shit, this is the best thing we've heard. It's so fresh, it's so new. Oh my God. And then they just went, after that, they went, we're just going to ride on the coattails of Måneskin for a bit and carry on. But now is the time that we need something fresh and new. It's too long.
I think Ollie's fresh and new. Buonanotte, Eugenio. Come stai?
Tired. And hungry. I'm hungry. I'm so hungry.
Oh, you should have been at our house. Honestly, we've had loads of snacks.
We've all been eating pasta all evening.
Yes, only pasta.
I couldn't. Being on the microphone, I couldn't. Otherwise, you would hear all the chewing, you know.
No.
Thank you very much for inviting us on your show. It's always an honor for that. And I hope your show was a great success. I'm sure it was. And I mean, what was going on? What's your take on the shocking results?
It was a shock. It was a shock, and I think one of the jury will have some explaining to do. So tomorrow we will have to see the breakdown because they will be released. By the results, I can already say that it looked like in the top 5 they were trying to push Lucio Corsi to win, and that was the press, because Ollie had much more advantage on the televote, and which ended up only on a 0.4% difference in the total result. That means that the press jury has given only a lot of 1, which is the minimum vote allowed. According to some calculation that I've done with last year, Lucio Corsi would have won with last year rules.
So very close.
Very, very close. It ended up with a 0.5. The results only came out for a few seconds on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
It was 23.8 for Ollie and 23.4 for Lucio Corsi at the end in the total, but there were more than 6-point difference in the televoting.
Let's wind back a few places
Why?
until in sette posto.
Yeah.
Achille Lauro.
No, I do agree with that because the song was good, but he doesn't know how to sing. I don't like him when he sings live. He's not a great singer live. I'm sorry. It's very unpopular.
The audience didn't agree with you.
No, the audience didn't agree, but because the song was... Yes.
No, Eugenio, do you think he sings better if he has no shirt on and he looks slightly sticky?
No, the problem with Achille Lauro is that in Italy he's done a lot of provocative things, and I think no matter what he's going to do in Sanremo, he's not going to win it. There is a chunk of people that simply doesn't like him.
Lena, what's your opinion?
Well, I will say it has come because he did X Factor Italia as a host this year. He has a lot of new women of a certain age fans, and we are called the Senato. That's our fan name now. So
does that mean 50? Because that's how old I am.
The Senate.
But like the X Factor did up his popularity with, I think, kind of like the normal person versus like the younger edgy person. So,
but you see him and you think he's an act. Like it's not like a real person, and his like grime in like why is he not smiling, and like it's too much. And
my take on that was that he was concentrating on singing.
Yeah.
Donna, what do you think about that? Would you agree?
I mean, he is actually a performer as well, you know, so there's a little bit of actually trying to get across the nostalgia look, the sultry look, you know, whilst singing. I don't think it's, you know, he has actually tried to study on his vocals since Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
And he's been through a various amount of genres en route to that. So he's definitely more in his classical phase, and that's the sort of like persona he's portraying as well. So some of that thoughtfulness, etc., it's about the stage presence. It's not necessarily about his vocal. So
and if there wasn't enough booing going on, then we had Georgia, and the crowd went nuts again.
I mean, I thought she was guaranteed top 3. I mean, I'm shocked. We're all. I know you were always pulling for Ollie, which is fair, but like the fact that she wasn't top 3, I was so shocked.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask Chico Valare what he thought of this.
Well, he said to me earlier on, do you know, Andrew, you were absolutely right when you were on Glitterbeam Radio when you said that possibly Georgia was being hyped because of the nostalgic having won in 1995. Mm-hmm. Yes, I did. And then you correctly chose the winner by choosing Ollie.
Okay.
So that's what Chico was saying to me earlier on, and now you're saying it's way past his bedtime.
I'd just like to say, Chico, don't blink if you need help.
Eugenio, this is Chico has got the sheet music of Valare in his hand, and it was done as a present for me, and it is perfect. The woman got the score exactly right.
On air, we heard this voice as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yes,
did.
we did, didn't we? Yes.
It was very high pitched. Yes,
Yeah,
it was almost like Georgia.
almost like Georgia. And tell us a little bit more about Georgia. How did it go down?
It went down very bad even in our studio. It went bad because yes, I understand, the fact the 30 years, etc. The song objectively wasn't bad. Certainly wasn't bad like the one she brought 2 years ago. It was shocking also because, again, after we had to wait 15 years, we are again at a point where the top 5 were just men, and there were no women in the top 5, which has been going on in Sanremo for a long time. And despite, there is a whole new generation from Annalisa to Elodie to Rose Villain of women that for some reason seems not to be able to succeed when instead on the radio and in the charts they do really well. George has been constantly first, second in the top Spotify in Italy this week, in the charts, and it was. If you look at the chart, it looks more like a challenge between Fedez and Georgia. So, which in my opinion it would be a much fairer top 2.
Ah. And then Simona Cristici. I'm going to ask Donna just to give us a brief taste of what the lyrics mean. What's the song about?
Oh my. Well, you'd sort of say Christiki style if you've not heard him sing. If some people would say, "Is that singing?" Yes, it is. It's a sort of lyrical, poetic, sort of spoken song. Not in the way that William Shatner does it. It's it's a lot nicer, I think, really. But it was a very personal song. Quite a few of these were very personal or autobiographical songs in some way. And his song was about his mother, and the sort of care and attention that she would have given him as a child. He's now finding he would have to give back to her as she starts losing her memories. And from what I understood, correct me if I'm wrong, Eugenio, his mother had suffered a brain hemorrhage in an accident and developed Alzheimer's. I think she's sort of stabilized a little bit now. She's still alive, but
yes.
It was a moment that he's sort of thinking about the future as well, of how he's going to have to look after her, and she will slowly fade. Her memory will fade. He will fade. So, yes, it was very moving.
Very jolly. So a lot of the songs this evening were either sad or angry.
Do you know why he lost? Because
Why?
we got that from the press room, because our presenter in the press room actually told us that at the beginning everybody was rooting for Simone, particularly on the first night, because it was such a powerful thing. Then his attitude in the last few days have completely changed. He didn't release, he didn't give any interview. He didn't do a press conference. He didn't want to meet journalists. So that already, put him against the press room. And then he came out with certain declaration, like, for example, that he's against abortions and things like that, which didn't really go well with the public as well. So he actually sort of dig himself a hole and goodbye. But he tried desperately to appeal to people with emotion. Even the duet from Friday, it was the same.
I do think that it wouldn't have done well in Eurovision, to be honest, because it was very moving lyrically, but you're singing in Italian, and musically the song didn't really grab you. So it's not like something like Constructor, where it was it was a moving song and there were meaningful lyrics, but musically and performance-wise, it grabbed you as well. And I don't think this one did.
Yeah, I think that's
What
right.
did Chico think of it?
Chico thinks it's an absolutely beautiful song that you hardly need any voice to sing whatsoever. And he's Italian, he's getting better and better by the day. So if you come back next week, he might sing it for you, but he's not going to sing it tonight.
We were discussing. I think that was the most discussed song of this whole week between us and the other like kind of New York Eurovision crowd. And we were pro like send it, like like make everyone kind of face that kind of song. We're not used to that kind of thing. Like they want divas or they want hot boys, whatever. It's like it actually would have been, I think, kind of a wild, interesting selection. But then, yeah, like me and Donna's mutual friends were kind of like not quite as specifically. So I'm really interested to hear. There was a little bit of like chat in the press about how he had some conversations about being very religious, but I hadn't heard those specifics. So it's very interesting because like I really thought he had top 5 in the bag, but then when he did not come in the top on the covers night, we were all a bit like, what happened? We were like, whoa, that's a surprise. Like something shifted.
Yeah, and even though the covers didn't count towards the result, they must have influenced people's voting.
Whatever.
Oh, you're on mute, love.
Like it's indicative of the whole vibe. Yeah.
Let's move to Fedez, Partito in Quattro Posto. Another angry singer, another angry song. Wasn't to my taste. Who's going to say that they enjoyed it or liked it? Go on, Eugenio. Tell us about it.
For me, it's the best song of this Sanremo.
Wow.
Yes, because the music is good, the production was good, the lyrics were actually very good, because it was a song about a very, very big issue, which is mental health and depression, and all the medicines that you need to take for it. So it was a really, really, really deep song, but it was rapped and sung, not spoken like Christicchi did. So it was an actual song.
Yeah.
And I like that, So,
Javier, you also put your hand up. You enjoyed it.
Yeah. I want to say, I mean, we had conversations here about how Sanremo feels a little bit like the Eurovision Oscars. So you have to be kind of like this very like complex entry to be able to do well in Sanremo. So I felt like Fedez did that the best. But also, in my opinion, his song was the one that was the most musically interesting of the bunch in the sense that I felt like a lot of the other songs, especially the ballads, relied on sort of like established chords and then went for the power in the lyrics. Whereas Fedez, in my opinion, was trying something that was a little bit more innovative. So I was curious about Fedez's song, where I was not so curious about the other ones because some of the other songs in the contest felt like something I've heard before.
Mm-hmm.
This felt more like something I'm interested in because it's something new.
Right. Moving forward to Bruno Sass in Posto 3. Right. I was very surprised because I don't remember ever having heard the song before, even though I've watched Sanremo all week. I have no idea why that one was in the top 5. Never mind third. Anybody explain better?
Well, he's an established artist for years, and his songs are actually like nice, and it's I don't know. It's a bit like a Starbucks music, probably. But I knew his name when he popped up. That like, oh, Bruno Isas is doing Sanremo this year. This is going to be interesting. It made me actually put him on my Fanta Sanremo team because I thought like, oh, this will be something cool. I don't necessarily like the song, but I have like he has some like Spotify playlist power 2 years ago. He's in like the world music circuit or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now moving forward to the top 2. Am I right in thinking that they're both Sanremo virgins?
No.
No. I'm not.
Ollie's not.
Ollie's not. When was he in it before?
A couple of years ago with Amadeus.
Okay.
One more.
Yes.
You did? Okay.
Lucio
he
Corsi
seemed-
is the Virgin of Sanremo.
Right. Oh, that must be awful. I mean, awfully upsetting to get so close. And to come second in the covers night as well.
But he's gonna get a whole career out of it. Like he had a great week, I think.
Mhm.
Who had him on his list a week ago, and now he's like the winner of the hearts, I guess, like the clown guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like good for him.
Yeah,
I mean,
his
sang
version
with
of
he sang his duet with
Volare
the
was
most
lovely.
famous character, though. You know, Topo Gigio.
I was
Gigio.
obsessed with the
Obsessed. Oh, yes. That
And
was-
if anyone hasn't
Oh.
watched any of the rest of the week at all, do go back and have a look at the duets evening with Lucio and Topo Gigio. It's really sweet.
It isn't. Do you know? Somebody said to me, "You remember Topo Gigio, don't you?" And I said, "I have no idea what you're talking about." But apparently, he was a very famous cartoon in England as well, as well as Italy, and may have performed a live version at the Palladium in the 1960s. But absolute.
And for those who are in the United States, he's been a regular guest on the Ed Sullivan Show. So yeah.
I'm from Latin America, and my parents were like, "What you've been doing all week? Watching Sanremo?" But then I was like, "Hey, Topo Gigio's in it," and they were like, "We love Topo Gigio." So they knew nothing about Sanremo, but they love Topo Gigio.
I love Topo Gigio. All right, now let's talk about the winner and specifically about how we think it's going to do in Eurovision. Donna.
Thanks. Well, he's certainly got a good chance, you know. Probably more so than some. I mean, like I'd said on the radio show earlier, there was a possibility that if Christica got through, then they could have done something similar to like Ermal and Fabricio with the staging and, you know, video wall and explaining through English some way or another the song. But this one, I think you could do a little bit more with. It's certainly a friendlier sound, let's say, to a lot of the Eurovision public. So yeah, not a bad choice. He still could do well. I'm not sure he'd be a winner. I don't think anyone this year screamed winner in a Eurovision sense to me at all.
Phil and Michelle, do you think it would be better if he sang it in English?
No. I mean, he really put some passion into it, didn't he? I mean, his face was going red. He was proper belting it out.
Yeah, there were veins in neck and all sorts of
and I
stuff.
think, you know, I don't think he'd have that passion singing in a different language that wasn't his native language. So no, I think he should sing it in Italian. I think it'd be a shame if he didn't.
Yeah, he definitely should sing it in Italian. Because
Lena?
it was the feeling, the passion and everything that he got from it. He'll get more votes from that than if he sang it in English. It's not going to win whether he sang it in Italian or English. So it doesn't really matter. But it will get a higher score singing it in Italian.
Especially because it's not going to be the only song with Italian in the lyrics.
Oh, geez. Here we go.
We'll come to that in a moment. Eugenio, you've been working all evening. Do you know that there are 2 Italian songs in Eurovision Song Contest?
Yes, we all love a macchiato.
Espresso macchiato.
Espresso macchiato.
Yeah. And I think that, oh God, it's awful.
Yes.
But I think it's going to do better than the Italian song.
It doesn't deserve to, but
it doesn't deserve to, but it's going to. Estonia are going to do better than Italy. It's so horrific. Yeah, the staging's going to be fantastic, and it's going to beat Italy.
Sorry.
With
Eugenio, do you know the song we're talking about?
I know the song.
Right. How do you think Italians will react to it?
They will probably, half of them will laugh about it. Half of them will be extremely offended because you mentioned the espresso.
Okay.
Don't mention food and drink in vain. You know.
Yeah. Good point. But I do know that there is a very famous song in Italy which was sung in cod American English, which is nonsense lyrics, but was made by somebody who doesn't speak English.
I love that song.
I see this as a similar sort of thing, but the other way around. But
It is. It was provocative, but it was provocative because that song, which is Prisen Collinesen and Chusel,
Didn't
was
Madonna come out last year?
it was done to pretend to sing in English, but only for Italians. It didn't. Celentano didn't go to Eurovision with that.
Yeah, sure.
But only won't make the top 10 this year. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you think he will or he won't? I'm
No,
sorry.
it won't. Unless I mean, the only chance Italy has to go to the top 10 if Ollie perform without his shirt.
Nah.
I mean,
Well-
I think
Absolutely right. Right.
Or
Yeah.
have his chest exposed in some way, perhaps.
Yes.
Like the lilac shirt tonight was nice, but he didn't have to have the undershirt on.
Can we not objectify men, please? Just for once.
No, let's have a thing. No, it is what it is, Andy. Get over it.
So, if I can make the case for Ollie, if we look at what worked at Eurovision in the last couple of years, it's which artist am I willing to watch for 3 minutes? Who gets my immediately? And it's like people like Kerry, Duncan Lawrence maybe sitting down, Salvador Sobral. It's even Loreen or Nemo. And I think he has that. You see him immediately and you think like, what's this guy going to give me? And then he comes up with this relatively conventional song. And it's like, okay, this is not great. But then the chorus starts and he gets like, his veins are popping and he gets this red face or whatever. But still, he's a guy where I think like, this is a normal person's idea of someone who's hot. This is a normal person's idea of like a good working song. It's well crafted. And if Italy can get like fourth with Dua Vita and fifth with Emma Meta, I think this song can also go top 5, especially again, like it depends on what's happening in other countries. But in a year of like Erika Wickman and Malta with Kant, like this can be a quiet reprieve where people will think, oh, this is like a guy I'm rooting for. I think this is what normal people look for at Eurovision. Like this is a person I can relate to. And he has this like average people hotness to him that I think could work.
Yeah. So
Oh, wait, okay. Wait, hang on. What's that, Chico? No, you're wrong. Chico said you're wrong.
No, but Eugenia, before you joined us, we were having a discussion about there is one song tonight that could have won Eurovision.
Okay.
Any idea which one we all thought it would be?
Cuoricini?
No. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Tutta l'Italia.
Italia, tutta l'Italia, tutta l'Italia. Hey, tutta l'Italia, tutta l'Italia, tutta l'Italia.
This is a nightmare.
Nightmare.
Sorry.
This is a nightmare. I've heard that song because it was playing on the TV, and then the station had it on as a jingle. Only tonight it was like 30 times. I can't.
Has it been released?
It's been released, yes.
How's it doing?
All the platforms sung by Gabri Ponte. So go a ascolta tutta l'Italia bracket Sanremo 2025. So
okay. And do we think any of these songs might end up going via the side door, San Marino?
No. Marcella Bella.
Marcella Bella.
Marcella Bella. That would be good.
Bella.
Well, she is kind of like doing a little bit
desperate.
Pazzo,
Desperate
isn't
is
she?
the word.
Yeah.
Desperate. Oh, Chico says it's
time for bed.
To Italia. Hey. Yeah. So why was that not in the contest? Oh my God, I can't believe it. It's like that would have
If it was in the
aced
contest, we wouldn't have heard it so many times.
it would have come third in Eurovision.
I just showed it up.
I can feel it.
Oh well,
Okay.
they missed a trick.
They missed it. Well, I'm with Christian. I think Ollie will do very well. I think I'm listening. I have to admit, I'm listening with my eyes. But that's I've got to vote like everybody else. I think he's
Evan.
I think
Andy.
he actually improved as the week went on. Anyway,
Yeah.
Tonight he really gave everything. I think out of all of them, him and Gaia actually really pulled it out of the bag. I mean, she had the hardest thing of starting the whole festival on Tuesday, and she was nervous as heck. She didn't give a very good performance at all, and put that tonight, much better, much easier, actually moving rather than wooden, and I actually started enjoying her song, and felt she should have been further up the table. Same as many of the women actually should have been further up the table.
Yes, yeah.
So
Well, as
go on
a
my
lover
playlist.
of women's vocals, I can only agree with you. I think we've come to the end of the show, and I would like to say this is our 5th middle of the night show.
Wow.
We've been doing it for 5 years, so I would like to say a massive thank you to everybody. Grazie a tutte, a Donna.
Grazie.
Phil and Michelle are our big hosts and big hostesses, Queen and King of ESC Fan TV.
Yeah, Chico just messaged me and said that Italia is going to finish 11th overall.
Yeah,
Right.
thank you. Thank you. It's been great. Thank you.
11th. 11th.
11th. And thank you to New York, to Lena, Christian, and Javier.
Yes, New York City. Woo.
Are you going to stay up? It's the middle of the day for you. Of course you are.
One more
9 p.m.
One more prosecco. One more prosecco.
Mille grazie, Eugenio. Thank you for staying up because you must be
Grazie.
absolutely exhausted.
Oh.
And muchísimas gracias. Oh no, that's Spanish, isn't it? Grazie a Chico Volare.
Hey, Chico.
Hopefully
Thank
we'll
you
get him
to
singing
everybody
next year.
in the chat room. My goodness, I mean, this time of night, it is so nice to have so many of you joining us. And I hope you will go to, some of you will be going to bed happy with the result. And
We're gonna be celebrating Scopo's.
for anybody who isn't, all I would say is Eurovision is about disappointment. Sanremo is about disappointment. There can only be one winner, and most people are going to be disappointed. So you get up and you live another day.
Oh,
Right,
let's look on the
rollers
bright
credits.
side, Andy.
Grazie
And of
mille.
course, can we
tutti.
all say thank